Hey everybody, Steve here with special guest Chris
Chris here.
from Neon Tardis. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How you doing? Hope
Oh,
everyone's doing well. Have we got anyone coming in on YouTube?
do I have anything coming on YouTube? No, just this. Um, if you guys saw the thumbnail or anything, you know that this is the unemployment stream. Let me tell you guys a story. About a month ago, I was at work, working hard, doing my job, and I ended up getting heat exhaustion. I had to go to the doctors. They sent me home. I was home for a couple days, trying to get over that, get back to work. So last week, I'm doing some work and I jammed my finger. I'm not gonna just show it off. I don't want YouTube to get all upset with me. And had to go to the doctors for that. And the day after that, I end up getting cut in the leg. I needed 5 stitches. So it's been quite a month. So I get back from the doctors from the stitches because they say, hey, you're good to go back to work. Come back to work. Hand my boss the doctor's note saying I can start working again. He looks at the note, looks at me and says, "Gonna have to let you go. We just can't. You're just not the right fit.
This doesn't work for us, brother. We're really sorry, but
you're costing us way too much in medical bills." I'm like, okay. So I call my wife, and she's not all that excited to hear about it. And I come home and I lick my wounds, literally and figuratively. And so I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm thinking, I got free time. What's a guy to do with free time? Live stream.
Exactly.
Which is why I'm here. And since I can't live stream by myself because I'm lousy at it, I call my buddy Chris up and like, Chris, when you want to come on over and give me a hand?
Exactly. Always available. What Steve is saying is please donate. Okay. He needs that money. He really, really does. Donate to his buy me a coffee or whatever he's got. Okay.
Right here.
There you go. Yeah, right there. Send him all the money. Okay.
We have this. Just you take a little snapshot, and if you're feeling generous and you don't want to see me live in a cardboard box because it's hard to get Wi-Fi in there. You can't live stream from a cardboard box. I really appreciate it. Or
for just $10 a month, you can help support a Steve in need.
Yes. Or if you feel like it, you can buy a book.
Hell yeah.
They are awesome. As a matter of fact, let's if you do, you'll be taken to this page right here, where you can see all the books that I have available to purchase. It's $2.99 for an ebook, $9.99 for a book. Except for this guy, this is only $6 for the paperback.
Oh,
it's smaller. If you love reading, if you love superheroes, if you're a fan of good old fashioned good versus evil, and you just want to escape into a great story, these will absolutely do it for you. They will take you away. They'll send you to another world where you can just read about good versus evil and watch a true hero, do true hero stuff.
Indeed. Don't waste your money on Big Finish bullshit for the BBC, okay?
Exactly.
Spend with proper kind of creators, yeah?
That's garbage stuff. They used to be good, just like Doctor Who used to be good.
Indeed.
But then they got the same notice that Doctor Who did, and from the BBC, and like, hey, story be damned. Let's just go ahead and start pushing the narrative of DEI instead of a good story.
It's very tiring, though, isn't it? Shooty's already told us it's very tiring. Not
Apparently
the physical
so.
work, but carrying the narrative. It ages you, kind of starring in Doctor Who. Apparently,
Yeah, it didn't seem to bother Capaldi any. He's
no, or any of them.
I mean, they all ran. I mean, you look at the original Doctors. They're out there running. I mean, Tom Baker did Doctor Who for 7 years, and he wasn't a spring chicken when he ended, and he was still running around everywhere.
He's still running around now, isn't he? Really?
He is. I mean, he looks good for what he is. Oh. So, yeah, don't be afraid to take a look at these. Great books.
Hell yeah.
All 4 of them. And I'm working on a new one. I got an email thing set up now where I can send emails out to followers.
Okay.
And I said to entice people to open the emails and things like that.
To lure them in.
I put the first chapter of my new book out specifically for them to read.
Hell yeah.
Like, here you go. Here's the first chapter. It's raw, it's unedited. But you're getting the first look at it. I had 0 people open it up.
Oh, no.
0. So I took it down. So I'm like, forget you guys. What's a guy got to do to get people to read a book these days?
Have you tried a scantily clad woman? It works for Marvel Comics. Get a Savage Land kind of comic kind of cover going.
I might have to do that.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about if once I get a little bit of money saved up, setting a booth up at a Comic-Con and sell there. And I know they frown on it a little bit, but getting a booth babe, what they used to call them, get this you get this hot chick. She's dressed in little shorts and a t-shirt, and you send her out, and she kind of walks around and she tries to bring people into your booth. I think I might try that.
Or Papa South, just get him in Canadian, the Canadian flag for his undies, and just get him to, we'll work that out. We'll hook him up. We'll get him down there.
That feels like he'd be hurting them my way.
They'd be running away. Much love to Team South.
Absolutely. So let's jump into the big thing, the thing everybody's talking about these days.
Doctor Who?
We'll get to that later.
Ah.
We got that. Superman. Been a lot of talk since it came out. I saw it. I enjoyed it. And if you're one of the few people that watch my video reviewing it, you'll know I gave it a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. So the only
very divisive, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's very divisive at the minute, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I heard them talk about how this was going to be a divisive movie. I thought, how can this be divisive? Is it going to be super political and divide people? No. It's dividing people between the James Gunn Superman and the Snyder Bros and their Superman. And
can't we all just get along?
Yeah, I mean, if the way you got to look at it is you had one guy write and draw Superman, and now they left the book, and now you got a new guy a new team of writers and artists doing the book. It happens. You don't like the book, you stop reading it. You don't like the movie, you stop watching it. But I've seen a lot of YouTubers. They seem to. I mean, they before the movie came out, they were talking about how the how this movie wasn't going to do well. You know, there's all kinds of problems with it. It's political. It's woke. It's this. It's that.
There was a lot of dung flown at this kind of film, wasn't there? Yeah, even Variety, up till before the film was released, they had that little fucking goblin guy out, you know, trying to make the cast slip up, and some of them did. You know, God bless Sean Gunn and stuff. But yeah, there's been a lot of dirt flung.
And so afterwards, I didn't watch any YouTube about this before I went and saw it. Once I saw it, I started watching the other YouTubers that I normally watch. Some I don't normally watch. I was watching them, and everybody felt like they were still against the movie, but they were trying really hard to find reasons not to like it.
Yeah,
it's like oh, it only did 125 million. It didn't do 127 million like the first week of Man of Steel, so it's no good. What?
I think because and then kind of word it kind of diplomatically, but I think these people are worried that if they come out and say what they really think, they're going to turn people away. They just want to toe the line and just say, "Oh, you know, it's still this, and this." You know,
I think a lot of these guys, they have a lot of followers. A lot of people watch their streams, and I think they stirred them all up to the point where none of them went out and saw it, and they're just against it. They created their own set of super monkeys to go online and start typing stuff. And now they realize, you know, it's not as bad as everyone's making out, and they're trying to find reasons. They're trying to find reasons to say it's bad. You know, they're trying to cover themselves.
Yeah,
and it's just sad to watch. It really is. I mean, if you don't like the movie, just say you don't like the movie. I have heard more people say, well, I might not like the movie, you can like the movie, and we can still get along. I've never heard them say that when they talked about how bad Captain Falcon was. I never heard them say that when they talked about how bad Ant-Man 3 was. It was just, this movie's bad. It sucks. And that's it. Here it's like, well, it's bad, but we can still get along. Don't hate me. Well, maybe instead of, throwing crap at it before it happens. I mean, I threw a little crap at it. And the only thing I did was the truth, justice, and the human way.
Yeah.
Which they don't even mention anything like that in the movie. They don't even mention the line at all. So it was.
I think maybe that's a part of a different conversation, is it? Because it's still the general consensus is that it's a good movie, but it's not a great movie. And maybe what would have shifted it from good to great is, bringing those elements in, kind of the American way, etc., etc. What the etc., etc. was, I can fucking tell you. But, maybe kind of James Gunn played it a bit safe, for James Gunn's Superman.
I think he did. I think he played it real safe. And there was a scene that everyone was talking about before the movie came out. It was like a 10-minute scene where Lois is interviewing Superman / Clark. And he's trying to explain why he went into this foreign country to stop one country from invading the other. And everyone kept saying how bad this scene was. It was like, oh, it's going to be a bad scene. I know when I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'm just going to go out and come in. I watched the scene. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I think Clark, as you know, when he was speaking as Superman, was explaining himself well. He's like, this is why I did it. I didn't want people to die. And Lois is like, but did you talk to the government? Did you talk to the foreign government? Did you, anybody at the State Department? You just went in and you unilaterally, did this. If I had the power of Superman and there was a giant country invading a small country, I think I might fly over and go, hey, let's put the brakes on this.
Is it a Trump euphemism, do you think?
I don't think
Superman
so.
Trump?
I don't think so. But I think a lot of people made this movie out to be a lot worse than it was going to be, and now that it's out, it's a good movie. And still they're coming out going, well, it's a family movie. Like, that's bad. We much rather watch the Snyder Man of Steel, because that's dark and it's gritty and it really portrays him as a. I don't want to watch a Snyder movie. They're dark. They portray everybody as broken and conflicted, and they all got to sit on a therapist couch at some point.
And Superman isn't supposed to be dark, isn't that the whole point? Batman is dark, Superman is supposed to be hope.
Exactly. He's supposed to. How in the Man of Steel movie, they talk about his symbol, and they're like, no, it's not an S. It's a symbol. It's supposed to mean hope. There was zero hope in Man of Steel. Zero hope. It was so dark and just so terrible. I mean, there were some good scenes in it. I'm not going to say the movie wasn't visually good. It had a lot of action, but it just seemed like a big muddy mess. And from the first second you watch this, it's bright, it's colorful. When I left the theater, I actually felt hopeful. So
it should be mission accomplished, shouldn't it?
Kudos to James Gunn. I think he did a good job. Now, Supergirl, I don't think that's going to do as good, especially when they're taking the Tom King Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow series and adapting that. That's just a terrible.
I'm not sure. I mean, we've seen. I don't know if you've got it kind of queued in, but kind of seeing the first poster they've released for it. I'm not sure, like mocking the tag of Superman is a great idea. I kind of understand kind of what they're trying to do, like look out or whatever. But I don't. It kind of doesn't give you a lot of confidence. It's like, well, does that mean that Supergirl's a fucking idiot?
No, in the comic, she's kind of a wild child, and that's what they're kind of going to probably try to portray her as in the movie.
Yeah, maybe, but it's not necessarily. I guess from a more normal kind of point of view, that's not really what I get from the poster. The poster looks like we're kind of more like mocking the phrase, or to a certain degree, or that she's a disaster, I suppose. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, But no. I don't know. I think for the first ever real proper look of Supergirl officially, as far as I'm aware, I think they could have just did better. To be honest, I mean, do one of those swanky posters, that we have for Superman, with a nice all blurred background. Just fucking do that. The first one, just play it safe. I don't fucking start knocking everyone's confidence.
There is two post-credit scenes. There's a post-credit or a mid-credit and post-credit. Neither one has anything to do with upcoming movies.
Good.
But like the little thing on the bottom is saying, spoilers, she does show up at the end of the movie.
Yeah, which is fine.
She's drunk. She stumbles into the Fortress of Solitude. Gets her dog, because Crypto is actually her dog.
Yeah.
And she takes off again. She just leaves. And Superman and the one robot, number 4, they're just like, kids, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like again, I mean, I don't know. Like it's like jovial and it's a joke, and I kind of I get it, but I think for the first introduction officially for this character, you know, do the scene. Do you know what I mean? Do her come back and get a dog by all means, but I don't like it. You see what I mean? It's like it's all pointing towards this character being like a social disaster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not sure if we're ready for that. I think maybe we're being a bit too cocky and confident. Oh yeah, you know we can do this. I'm like, I don't know. You know, we will see.
Yeah.
Do we think it's going to be Supergirl and Crypto again?
Oh yeah. Because Crypto plays in the comic.
Mm.
He's in the comic book, so that's probably why she came and got him. Because if since they're adapting that comic book, and the dog's in the comic book, you're going to see him again.
That's good. I don't think, from what I've seen, I mean, I haven't seen the film, and I think at the minute, kind of how my schedule's looking, it's very unlikely that I'm going to. Because again, I'm going to repeat it every time. People don't think I'm just going to just pulling a fast one. But getting to a cinema is kind of very difficult when they close your local cinema, and the only one you've got is God knows kind of how many miles away. So,
I completely understand.
It's a military operation now. Do you know what I mean? Kind of with with the little ones and stuff. That side, all the scenes I've seen with Crypto, I haven't really had a problem with. And as you said, people have been, kind of, Jesus, that threw me off then. Just there was I can't remember exactly word for word, but there's a lot of negative kind of bias towards Crypto. I'm like, well, he's a dog, not a human, and the dog is kind of doing what the dog should do, is kind of 50% listening and other 50% being energetic stuff. I thought it was quite good. The one or two, I think it was just one scene, wasn't there? The fortress scene. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that when I do eventually see it, which will probably be at home in 1 week's time, because that's what we like to do. At least that's a positive now. Films come out kind of even earlier now. They're worried about not making enough revenue, so it's on digital fucking. Superman, I probably would pick up on digital, whereas normally all other films, I just wait until they're more available.
Well, it is something you can watch with the whole family. So,
what was the rating for it?
I think it was PG, PG-13. I can't remember, but I was watching another YouTuber talking about it, and he had like 6 kids, and his youngest was 5, and he took the whole family.
It's 12A in the UK. Our ratings are normally pretty good. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's rated PG-13, but I think the only reason that they have that is there is some language. Mr. Terrific likes to drop some language. And
Mr. Terrific, he wants to be a role model.
Yes, he does.
For all kids.
And Guy Gardner, he makes some constructs with his ring that are middle fingers, so they're flashing around every now and then. So, but I think for action and things, you can take your kid to it. I don't think it's going to be
okay.
So
would I be allowed? Would I be allowed into a UK cinema though, with the job's worth kind of people there, in the cinema? Well, you shouldn't be taking a kid that young in. Call the Labour Fort Police. I'll have people knocking on my door.
Smuggle them in. You just wear a big old coat.
Bringing a very big backpack. I mean, if we let religious attackers into concerts, I'm sure it shouldn't be an issue bringing the backpack into a cinema.
So watching this movie got me thinking about other movies, and I found this. I thought we could talk about it.
Nice.
This is CBR, and they created their 10 greatest comic book movies of the 2000s.
Okay.
So I figured we just roll through the 10 and we can talk about what we think, if we think it's a good rating, if we think this should be there, if we think it should be there at all.
Yeah.
So we'll start out. We'll scroll down here with number 10, Watchmen. What do you think of Watchmen? Did you watch Watchmen?
I never saw it. The Watchmen have never really appealed to me. So, like I said, I'm a very kind of normie in all kind of senses for kind of comics and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I've never, it's never really appealed to me for some reason. I mean, I could watch it and maybe that would change my mind, but I haven't seen it, so I couldn't comment either way.
No.
Is this a Snyder film?
Or this is a Zack Snyder film, and it is dark. Oh, yeah. Again,
that surprises me. There seems to be a running theme here, doesn't there? But does that theme fit well with these characters, though?
Well, Alan Moore wrote this. Alan Moore likes to write dark stuff. So this was just a match made in heaven. And the first time I watched it, I didn't mind it. It was like, you know what? It was a pretty good movie. But the more I watched it, the more I didn't like it. The more I just it was just too dark, too heavy. They weren't heroes. They were some of them were heroic.
Yeah.
But in all, they were not heroes.
Okay.
In my opinion. Now, Alan Moore does not like superheroes. I mean, that's not a it's not a secret. He's been on many different interviews and things, and he says how he doesn't like superheroes. He thinks comic books should be for kids, and if you're an adult reading comic books, there's probably something wrong with you. So any chance he gets to write a superhero comic book or story, he's gonna take it as dark as he can, deconstruct them as much as possible, and just make them look bad.
Bit of a conundrum, isn't it? You know, if you think adults shouldn't be reading comics, then who is this comic aimed at then?
Exactly. I mean, I have no problem with, adult comics, comics that would be like R-rated stuff, which this comic absolutely would be. And, but for the most part, comics were created for kids. I think comics should still be for kids. I think we should have, we shouldn't have these dark anti-heroes running around. At least if you do have a anti-hero or something, put them in their own book, put them somewhere where the kids can't get a hold of them.
I guess because way back when, when Superman, Batman, these characters were first coming out, they were beacons of hope, or they had, they were role models. They had characteristics and traits and stuff that you would want your kind of kid to kind of take on. Like truth, justice, the American way. And kind of as we've got on, that's just kind of got a bit lost. As you say, being dark and anti-hero is cool. Yeah. The random kind of things there, just It
just seems the darker and grittier the superhero is anymore, the more people want to gravitate towards it. And I think that's another thing against the new Superman movie. People just don't want the optimism and hope stuff, because it's passe. It's not cool.
I don't know. I'd personally disagree. And if that's how the film went, then I'd be confident that when I watch it, I'm going to enjoy it. I think the whole thing with Superman, you kind of said earlier, I think there's just been this whole kind of culture clash about it, about people kind of believing the negative about it, not going to see it, whatever. But they may change their mind, and hopefully, like people like yourself that have seen it come out saying it's good. That positive word of mouth. Hopefully, over the next week or so, more people will go to see it.
Yeah. All right. So Watchmen, I guess since this is a comic book list and not a superhero list, Watchmen is can be on the list. I don't know if it'd be on my list. Probably not. All right, we'll move down to number 9. X2.
Okay.
X-Men United. Did you see this movie?
Yeah, not cinemas. This would have been on DVD back when they kind of put a little bit of effort into their DVD presentation. We had the nice little kind of slip covers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's been a very long time since I've seen the X-Men films. Again, that kind of triggers that you should probably rewatch them. But I did very much enjoy them, at least the first two. The third, we were starting to get maybe into a little bit kind of silly territory, but the third one was still fine. But I mean, if they're ranking at 9th, I'm curious as to see what the other films are, because I mean, if I did like a top 10 of this probably would be a little bit higher than that. I'm not saying like 3, 2, or 1, but maybe like 5 or something. It's
I like when it comes to the X-Men stuff. I think this one is my favorite of the original 3. But not my favorite of the entire X-Men franchise.
We've got Comics with Izzyverse in the chat.
Yes. How you doing? Good to see you. Days of Future Past is better. I was just about to get that.
I did enjoy Days of Future Past, to be fair.
I was going to say,
put them up against each other.
I was going to say the X2 is my favorite of the original X-Men. But Days of Future Past is my favorite of the entire.
When was Days of Future Past released, though?
It was released 2015, I think, 2016.
So that won't count in this. That won't count in this list anyway, then, would it?
Oh no, it's of. I'm assuming it's all the 2000s.
Okay.
Because we got some other things coming up on the list that look a little bit newer. But yeah, I think Days of Future Past is the best of the X-Men franchise. X2 is the best of the original 3.
I really enjoyed the first X-Men. I have to admit, I probably would, if I had to choose between the Future Past or the original X-Men, I maybe would go with the original, to be honest, because I can. That's why. Yeah. I just have more fonder memories of 2014 Days of Future Past. Apparently,
yes. Thank you. I was close. I got 15. I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, well, you weren't right, so you get demarked for that.
Just top off my head.
I had no idea. To be fair, I had no fucking clue.
So yeah, I don't have a problem with this being here in number 9.
Well, we'll see. Let's see what else is coming up. Okay, well,
let's roll down number 8. See what we got. We got V for Vendetta.
I mean, these should be switched. In my opinion, X2 should be 8.
This is another Alan Moore comic. So
yeah,
it's dark. It's. But I remember watching this one. I waited till it came out on DVD. I didn't watch it in the theater. And when it came on DVD, I enjoyed it. It was okay, but it wasn't something I really needed to see again.
I felt it was too, and again, maybe it was just because it wasn't really my kind of thing. I didn't really want to see it. So maybe, that kind of my opinion reflected on it. I just felt it was a bit too edgy, too dark, too edgy. It had a great cast. You had Portman was in this. Am I thinking? Who am I thinking?
Yeah,
Hugo was in this. But I'm not down with kind of this franchise, if you will.
Yeah, it was. I don't mind the fact. I mean, people can like the movie. I mean, like I said, I didn't mind the movie when it first came out. I watched it, I enjoyed it, but it's one of those movies where I watched it once, I don't need to see it again.
You can definitely say there's definitely ironies in how kind of we are right now versus to how that film is, and maybe it's predicting, kind of what's going on now.
This is the list on Alan Moore Love Fest. Oh, is this list on Alan Moore Love Fest?
Maybe it'll be number one.
Gentlemen. If it was, if the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen came out in the 2000s, which that came out in the 1990s.
Did it?
I think so. I love the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I think it's a great movie. But yeah,
you carry on. I mean, you have a quick chat.
I peeked at all.
2003, apparently.
Okay, I was wrong with that. Yeah, I would absolutely take V for Vendetta and The Watchmen and trade them for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and put that at number 10. But
don't worry, I'm sure we'll get a reboot of this. Yeah, that's probably. I wish we could like virtually bookmark this clip because this will be fucking something else. Who was it that did V for Vendetta? Was it Fox or one of those ass clowns? We'll get a reboot. And yes, the main character will be lame and gay.
All right. Well, as for me, again, I wouldn't have it on my top 10 list.
No.
So,
and that's the thing. I'm sure it's a good movie. I just remember seeing it kind of back then. You had X-Men and all this kind of stuff. It was just a bit too edgy and dark for my taste.
So let's move on from V to Ang Lee, and his Hulk movie.
So they think X2 is worse than this?
Yes.
Okay.
We're
kind of getting to understand their perspective here, I suppose, aren't we?
When this movie first came out, I was fine with it because there was nothing else like it. So it was there.
Don't get me wrong. It's an average film. Well, that was my thought process kind of when I saw it. I mean, I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you what happened in the fucking thing now, but I remember, it wasn't bad. It was there. It was fine. I feel X2 is definitely a better movie. So again, X2 I would have already moved to 7 at least.
But once I know there's a lot of people that don't like the Incredible Hulk, the one that came out after Iron Man. Yeah, he is very green in this movie. Very green. But once the Norton Hulk, I really like that movie.
Yeah.
I will. I mean, when it comes to this movie and the Incredible Hulk with Norton every time, I will die on that.
I think really, all the issues with Mark Ruffalo just being a mouthy little prick really are Norton's fault when you think about it. Because if Norton was able to carry on into the the Marvel verse, because I think it was, again, hopefully someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't that he didn't want to do it; he just couldn't do it, they had to bring Ruffalo in.
I thought he was having issues with the studio, and he just couldn't.
Well, yeah, that would also make sense, wouldn't it? Norton knew something that we didn't from then on. He was like, "No, fuck this. I know where this is going." But either way, it's still his fault that we've got Ruffalo running his mouth about free plasticine and all this silly stuff.
I think he actually suggested Ruffalo.
Well, definitely his fault then, isn't it? Really?
Definitely his fault.
but yeah, it was fine. I'd maybe just put it to the back of the queue though.
I'm again, for me, this wouldn't even be on my list. I would put the Incredible Hulk on this list before I put this here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this kind of goes.
Let's check out-
Maybe if we do something like this again and we can get organized, we need to try and get like a tier list, not with like pictures and stuff. Maybe we could just write, if that makes sense. We just like write the name of the film.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to 6 with the original
What?
Spider-Man.
6?
Only number 6.
Nah, come on now. Come on. Fucking hell.
I geeked out when this movie came out. Saw it in the theater, loved it, bought the DVD. I watched that DVD to death.
Yeah. 6?
I love
fucking 6?
I love the way Sam Raimi portrayed Spider-Man. I love the way he created that world.
Yep. The visuals, the promotional material before the film even came out. You had like all these kind of glitzy posters. Again, we talk about kind of edgy, dark content. Superman being seen in a dark kind of light in Man of Steel versus now, and this is kind of a similar-ish thing. I think Tobey Maguire's kind of Spider-Man was full of hope and all that kind of stuff, and then you go to the Amazing Spider-Man, and it was a bit more edgy. But this was an amazing film, an amazing Spider-Man. 6.
So makes you wonder what the top 5 is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, what has bowled these pricks over at CBR?
Well, let's take a look and move down to number 5, and we got Batman Begins.
Spider-Man's better than Batman Begins. In my opinion, anyway. It's all kind of perception and all that kind of stuff. Batman Begins was a great film. Spider-Man's better.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Nolan's Batman. The only thing I didn't like about Nolan's Batman, it was too grounded.
Yeah.
I mean, some of Batman's best villains, Poison Ivy, Clayface, Killer Croc, guys that Nolan wouldn't touch.
I agree, but you look what happened with the Joker. That blew the character out of the water, didn't it?
And the Joker, you could get away with that. You could get away with him being rounded. Now, when the third movie came out and they tried to use Bane, Bane cannot be used in a grounded world like this. He is fantastical. He's got
to be a bit silly.
He's got that venom running through him that pumps him up, and that's just something that you couldn't have in a grounded world that Nolan created. But when he tried to make Bane just a regular guy, it just brought him down, and it didn't work.
Because Batman and Robin, the fourth, the black sheep of the family, that has it is Batman and Robin. It's not forever they've got Bane. Yeah, it's Batman and Robin. They do a pretty good thing of explaining. He gets juiced up, for lack of a better term, and then he goes mental. Yeah, and the third Nolan film was just a bit, he's muscly, isn't he?
Thing is, I mean, in the comic books, he gets juiced up, he gets big,
it's juiced up,
but he doesn't lose his mind. I mean, he is a military genius, which is why in the comic books, when he's first introduced, and you see that iconic image of him, snapping Batman over his knee, he sets this whole thing up. I mean, he creates this whole plan to not only draw Batman out, but to just completely wear him down to the point where all Bane has to do is walk in and just end him.
And you can kind of understand why kind of Nolan took that route for the third film. I just don't think it paid off very well. And like I said, the third film wasn't a bad film by any stretch, but it also wasn't in the same league as the previous two.
No.
But you can kind of understand, kind of talking through that, why Nolan went that way, because he's a military genius, or however you want to word it. But I don't like the juiced element. So what we'll do, he'll just be a muscle boy. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
and it wasn't fine.
It wasn't fine.
It was average.
My wife and I went and watched the movie, the third movie when it came out. We walked out, and she right away she's like, "I didn't like this movie," and I was like, "No, it was a fine movie.
Yeah.
It was good." A week later, I'm like, that movie stunk. I just had to let it, marinate in my brain for a while. I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, this was wrong. This was wrong. This was wrong. I'm like, that was just a bad movie.
What were your thoughts? Would Spider-Man be in at least 5 now? Or would we switch that around?
I think I would probably switch Batman and Spider-Man around. Yeah. Let's see what they gave number 4 to. Iron Man.
What? Fucking hell. What?
I know I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because I like telling stories.
Yeah, man.
I went and saw this twice in the theater in the same day. I had carpal tunnel surgery, so I was off work for a while. The Friday this came out, I went and saw like the first showing, and it blew me away. I didn't watch any of the post-credit stuff. I don't think I realized it at the time. Walked out of the movie, had lunch, called my friend at work. I said, "What are you doing after work?" He's like, "Nothing." I'm like, get to the movie theater after work. We're watching a movie. He shows up. I watch it again with him. We stick around for the end credits. My little nerd mind goes nuts when I see Nick Fury at the end talking about the Avengers Initiative. I'm like, God, about lost it. I like Iron Man. I think Iron Man is probably the best Marvel movie from the phase 1. Absolutely, by far, the best. And I'm a Captain America fan first. So, and I love that movie too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the first Captain America. I can take or leave that. Like I said, it's not a horrendous film, but yeah, just Iron Man, it kicked it all off. It gave the MCU a real solid footing. And when you look at where we are now, just everything about this film just clicked. I don't want to pronounce the guy's name, but the guy that did the soundtrack, I've still got 1 or 2 tracks, the instrumental tracks that kind of on the playlist floating around. Fantastic. The casting, absolutely fantastic. Even down to the little robot in his kind of work studio that added comedy. You know what I mean? Like, not too much, but just the whole kind of fire extinguisher thing, all that kind of stuff. It kept you on your toes with everything. It never really got really sad. But the scenes in the cave and the end battle with kind of Obadiah, where you thought, you kind of know he's not because good is going to prevail and all that kind of stuff. But Stain gives him a good kicking. Stain kind of outsmarts him in quite a few positions here. He's a real good villain. The visuals just absolutely fantastic. The setup of the story, everything is just his perfect storm. How the fuck they did it, I don't know, to be honest, because I didn't think they did have like a quarter of the budget that some of these films have now. And we say this about Doctor Who, don't we, all the time, that one of the worst things to ever happen to Doctor Who was to give it a bigger budget because it makes them lazy.
Yeah.
And maybe because that's what's happening in the MCU now, but God damn, what a film.
I remember seeing an interview with Jon Favreau before the movie came out, and he was talking about how they were using a lot of practical effects as well as special effects. And I think a lot of the first Iron Man suit you see when he comes out of the cave, I think a lot of that is practical.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of
It's a shame. The only thing I would say is that they did, and this is not the film's fault, but you had the 10 rings, And they kind of fucked that, didn't they? To be honest, you know, when you look at the MCU now, you think, well, fuck me, they didn't mess it up that badly, I suppose. But I mean, I still don't think Iron Man 3 is one of the worst films in the world. It's certainly not as good as Iron Man 1, but I could watch it again quite easily. But
I can watch it again. The Mandarin. That was just bad what they did there. That was just
I wonder sometimes, was it so bad it reversed back into being funny?
No,
that's kind of how I view it. But
it was because I again being a fan of the comic books, I knew the Mandarin. I knew what he could do. I knew what the 10 rings represented. He actually had 10 rings, and they each had a different power to them. And then to have that show up, it's like, you know,
Trevor.
It's like a cat leaving a dead bird on your door when you're expecting, you know, DoorDash to bring you some, you know, a steak and potatoes.
It's a shame because the promotional material that ran up before the films were released, Ben Kingsley's, you know, when he was pretending, did a pretty good job. To be fair, and the promotional material worked really well. And you thought, oh shit, you know, this is not looking too good for Tony, is it?
No.
With his kind of one lines and that kind of stuff. You know, I wonder if they had just stuck the landing and kept him, and we didn't have this. You know, you could have just what was the guy's name?
It's Killian something or other.
Yeah, you know, he wasn't too bad in it either. They could have been co-villains. They could have moved Kingsley up the chain a little bit, and you know, but they didn't. I think they were rolling the dice a bit too much and wanted a bit more comedy, and I think that was one that was flatlined the film. But going back to Iron Man, you know, you can just rewatch it. You don't need to necessarily watch anything else about it, you know, but you can just watch this kind of every month. Just absolutely brilliant. Everything about it. It doesn't miss a beat. So why it's 4, I'm really kind of curious now to see what they've got for the other 3.
All right. So in the bronze medal position, we have Old Boy.
No.
I can't speak to this. I never saw the movie.
I've never seen it, and I don't care. It's not going to be as good as Spider-Man, and it's not going to be as good as Iron Man.
All right, so we're just going to skip right past this. Number 2 on our list, Spider-Man 2. Now, this is one of those rare movies where the sequel outshines the original.
Yeah,
and the original was good. I mean, it was really good. So to have a sequel come out and it make it better is just incredible.
Yeah, I think we'll see what number 1 is. Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2. I kind of view them just both being at the same level. I don't necessarily view 2 being better than 1, because that to me kind of signifies that actually there are some things wrong with 1, and I don't think there is. I think 1 and 2 are kind of equal. You know, Iron Man 1 is significantly better than Iron Man 2. Do you mean there's no way? Do you mean there is a definite kind of gap there? But Spider-Man 1 and 2, for me, are kind of the same. You know, they'd be A+, or you know, however the fuck you'd want to rank it. And such a gap between 1 and 2. I don't know what the fuck CBR's thinking here. You know, that's mental.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're trying to be edgy, and we know what happens when you try to be edgy. But I do remember I saw Spider-Man 2 at the cinema. I didn't see Spider-Man 1 at the cinema. I caught that on DVD, and then obviously watching that, I was like, "Fuck, I need to." Because you had Chad Kroger singing "Hero," and you think, "Oh fuck, you know, this is cinema. I need to watch the second one." And it was, you know, it was brilliant. You know, it was amazing.
Yeah, I think Alfred Molina playing Doc Ock. I mean, he nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I believed he was Doc Ock.
Completely agree. And then you look what happened with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
it
boy.
fell off a cliff.
And look, it's Spider-Man 3 by today's kind of standard of movies. I would think Spider-Man 3 is a good movie. Now we compare it to some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm so disappointed because they brought in so many elements that I was actually, really, kind of the symbiote, Venom,
Hmm.
all these things, and it kind of went down like a deflated balloon, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, saying Spider-Man 1 and 2 at 2, maybe. I'm interested to see what number 1 is when you're finally ready to move on.
Yeah, I think we can look at number one.
Let's do it. Let's see what the masterpiece is.
At number one, CBR decided to put
Spider-Man 3.
The Dark Knight. Is this a number one superhero movie?
I don't know. I think you could easily you've got your top 3 slots filled straight away, haven't you? I think Iron Man, the Spider-Man films, and the Dark Knight would definitely kind of slot in there. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I'm gonna go say I'm fine with this being number one. Because again, this is one of those movies I could watch anytime. I could pop it in the DVD and watch it straight away, and I'd be fine with it. Though I liked how they brought Two-Face in and made him work. Although I wish they didn't, kill him at the end. That's kind of a waste of a good character.
Yeah. I'm just checking Iron Man. I'm not just going quiet just because.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is saw it in the theater, loved it. Bought the DVD. I got the DVD. I'm surprised I can still play it for the amount of times I've played it. I didn't wear it out yet.
That's annoying. So all 3. Actually, what was Spider-Man 2? So all 3, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Dark Knight, they're all rated the same age rating, 12A. I'll let you know why that's what my thoughts are. So, because I'm trying to break it down to because ultimately it's going to come down to fucking PG-13 for all of them. My kind of thought process was going to be, well, what film gets the most exposure? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, I wouldn't necessarily take my 13-year-old or kind of younger kid. I don't know. The Dark Knight is a little bit. I don't necessarily think I agree with that age rating. Actually, but not that I'm one of those people that kind of wants to censor stuff or whatever, or trigger warnings and that. But I think some of the content and context of the Dark Knight is maybe. Yeah, I think maybe 12, 13 maybe could be a bit too young. We talk about kind of like kind of mutilation, kind of the whole thing with grenades and stuff, and I think there's a lot there. Yeah, I don't think that age rating's right, but the fuck do I know? Whereas, Spider-Man, as an example, you could take a young kid to. That'd be a perfect movie to kind of go with a little one too. Iron Man is kind of in a bit of the middle. I think there's not necessarily anything content-wise that's too brutal. Maybe. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of kind of sexual innuendo or whatever, but I'd kind of put Spider-Man at number 1. I think, or the if you want to work the Spider-Man films, because I think you've got more chance of if you talk to a young kid, do you want to if you show them the material, you want to go see The Dark Knight. It's a bit, as we've talked about, it's a fantastic film. It's up there, but it's a bit, again, it's dark, it's edgy. Or do you want to see, the pretty much dripped in gold kind of Spider-Man? I think a lot, 9 times out of 10, I think kind of young kids, most people can say, yeah, do you know what? Because there's too much edginess around, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I'd probably go the Spider-Man at 1. Maybe The Dark Knight at 2, and then Iron Man at 3.
Yeah.
Because I think The Dark Knight does do significant kind of work with one of the best villains that we've ever seen. And Obadiah Stane is great, but he's not Heath Ledger, Joker's, and that's not that film's fault. That film had the villain it needed, as does the other thing. But that's kind of how I'd kind of frame it, but I definitely wouldn't have it as CBR has it. Now.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting list. Like I said, I didn't agree with the Alan Moore stuff being on there.
It's a shame, really, because I think they were just trying to be kind of edgy to get kind of clicks, etc., etc. But I think those 3 films. Absolutely, well, 4 if you want to include Spider-Man 2, absolutely fantastic. It's a weekend worth of watching right there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a get the DVDs out, plan the meals, and we'll just start Friday night and we'll work our way into Sunday night.
Need to do. I was talking to my partner about watching the Maguire Man. The Spider-Man films. So hopefully we can get to. We've got the school holidays coming up for kind of our kids over the next kind of 6 weeks, so we've plenty of time to kind of just sit down and watch them. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, what a time! And you look at the films now, nothing close.
No, it's films these days are pretty bad. So, all right, you like Star Wars, right?
You like Star, you like the Acolyte, don't you? You like the Power of One, don't you? What's the?
I think more along these days you have to go. Do you like Star Wars or do you like Disney Star Wars? There is a huge gap between the two.
Do you think? Sorry, just because it's just appeared in the head. Do you think if Paramount kind of maintained whatever kind of control they had from Iron Man into Iron Man 2, where it went to Disney, I think again, didn't it? Do you think the MCU would be radically different?
I don't know.
Well, they just I can't remember Paramount's involvement, but I know. I know they were there. They had kind of something for at least kind of distribution or whatever. I'm curious to whether if they stayed involved, if we'd have what we have now.
Yeah, I'm the fact that Marvel created their own studio so they could kind of do their own thing, double-edged sword. Because on one end you can do what you want without other studios and things telling you what you can and can't do with your characters. On the other side, you can do whatever you want with your characters, and if you wanted to radically alter them so they don't even look like the comic book characters anymore because you want to go for a modern audience, you can absolutely do that.
Indeed. Yeah. Such as cosplay Hood.
Yes.
Anyways.
So it seems that there is a thing out now about Lucasfilm wanting to bring in Mara Jade.
Yeah, we talked about this on Sunday, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
And I wanted to want to talk about it here today too.
Expand further on the misery.
Expand a little bit more, and how this absolutely, positively cannot work in any way, shape, or form.
It ain't gonna stop them though.
Oh no, because they need to make money, and they're hoping that if they bring in a legacy character from the EU like Mara Jade into their world, that will drag Star Wars fans over. But the only thing it's going to do is anger real Star Wars fans even more, solidify their position, and make them hate Disney Star Wars even more.
Yeah.
Seeing as how now they're, because when Disney first took over Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy came out, I think it was either before the Force Awakens or just after, she was saying, we don't have any books, we don't have any comic books, we have nothing to fall back on. It's just, and there's there's decades worth of EU books.
Look how well that worked out for them.
And when things started to flounder, when things started to go downhill for them, the first thing they did was reach back and dig up a character from the EU.
Yeah.
In the hopes that it would bring fans back. It didn't. And this is the absolute worst character to try to bring back. Because,
well, in their mind, though, when you look at the Acolyte and kind of skimming across to Marvel, Agatha all along and all that, the Force is female. This is exactly what you want to be doing, because they can make Mara Jade gay, and they can either make her black or they can give her a black lesbian lover, and they can just wrap all that in. And they think they're being so clever with it. And, obviously you'll have all the racist fans like yourself and all that. But like you've said, what it will do is cause a, they thought the reception to the Acolyte was bad. It was like they had no idea kind of the absolute kind of maelstrom that would surround this. Or they would do it, and they would do it on purpose because, you've got Leslie Headland, Leslie Blockhead, just wants to own the chuds because it's not your money. And when you're not playing with kind of your own money, it's fine. You can do whatever you want because you can walk away from it. But yeah, they're going to go ahead with this. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, because with the sequel films, they portrayed Luke as this gruff,
an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up on the Force. He gave up on the Jedi. He gave up on everything. He went and hid on some planet somewhere.
Edgy bullshit. When we last see him in the decent films, again, it's a beacon of hope. A new hope, if you will. Yeah. And you get this fucking edgy Disney bullshit. He's cast away the Force. He's lost his lightsaber. He's gay. He drinks green milk from fucking space cows. Oh God, it's all so tiring.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the EU books, and I remember I'm reading the Thrawn trilogy now. Where she shows up, and just in case anyone hasn't read the Thrawn trilogy or what, spoilers, she starts out wanting to try to kill Luke because she was the hand of the Emperor. The Emperor used to send her out to do her evil bidding, or his evil bidding. So once the Emperor was dead, and she knew that Luke was the one who had a hand in killing him, she's bound and determined to kill him. But by the end of this, she's going to see the light, and she's going to end up marrying him, and
she's going to hop on his lightsaber.
They have a kid whose name is Ben Skywalker, not Ben Solo.
How do you work all this in when you've already fucked it all?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This history is so deep, and so, I mean, these two characters, Luke and Mara, are so intertwined that there's no way you can bring her in now after what you did to Luke.
Well, my my introduction to Mara Jade was through Star Wars Dark Forces 2, Mysteries of the Sith, the expansion, and all this thing now about people complaining that, oh, you know, people don't want female kind of characters in games and stuff. Again, this is just another kind of arrow to that quiver, just saying that you're talking shit, because back then you had Dark Forces 2, which was, you know, an amazing game. You were going around with a lightsaber and it's brilliant. You're lopping fucking people's heads off as a, you know, light side Jedi. Or you could go dark side, whatever, you know. But then they released an expansion and Mara Jade was the main character and you're looking for Kyle. And it was brilliant. And she had a, you know, purpley pink lightsaber, and you think that's fucking badass, that. So, you know, that was my introduction to the character. And again, you know, just kind of backtracking to what we were saying, you know, they fucked it all. You know, the only way that maybe they could bring her into this is if you denounce the Skywalker connection and you just bring her in kind of like Mysteries of the Sith did. And I can't remember how that ended. But you bring her in as, you know, an independent character, but then you lose all that story that you could have had, you know, with, and, you know, but what it just it's so short-sighted. Do you know what I mean? And it's just so frustrating because they've got all this resource, all this stuff that Lucas didn't have back then. And, you know, he probably wouldn't have touched any of this stuff. I don't know. But they just go from one fucking catastrophe to the other, and they think, well, what else can we do? And I say, you've done this all wrong. You've done it all wrong, and now you want to, you know, have the rumor of this character coming back. What are you going to do? Are you going to bring a 50, 60-year-old Mara Jade into the picture now? What are we doing here? Or are you going to bring her back and have creepy Luke Skywalker with a 20-year-old looking Mara Jade? Like, what?
Oh, Luke,
which they probably would do, actually, because actually that looks to the grooming kind of mentality that Disney has. But fucking,
I mean, Luke is dead in the Star Wars universe now, in the movies, in the Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've zoned most of that stuff out of my fucking head.
I mean, I unfortunately watched all three of the sequels just so I could see them, because it was I thought the first movie was going to be decent, and it was just a J.J. Abrams retelling of the A New Hope, episode 4, and then Ruin Johnson walks in and he just completely guts it, and then J.J. Abrams comes back and he just phones in the third movie, and it was his just typical garbage storytelling,
lens
flares and stupid MacGuffins. You know, some knife you have to walk around and look at the horizon, like, oh, it lines up, this is where I need to be. Who does that? Who stands back and says, I'm going to create a knife where the edge looks just like this? Who knows in like 20-30 years if it's going to look like that? I mean,
you know who didn't?
It's pointless.
George Lucas didn't.
Well, George Lucas had nothing to do with this. This is all Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams, and the 5 brain cells they have to rub together to make a movie. It was terrible.
Where do you go? Even, I mean, you know, this is kind of rumor and speculation, etc., isn't it? Like we said on Sunday. Even if they are going ahead with it, like, how the only way is to backtrack and say, you know, start your story from X years ago. But there's no way to do that without affecting, you know, particularly, you know, affecting events of the future. You know, because the minute you do that, and I think this happened, and again, it's a bit late here in the UK, but I know Marvel have done it with something. maybe it was Secret Invasion with the Korea. I can't remember, but I don't think it's that. There was something else where they went back and they changed something, and they had no thought process that actually, if you think about it, it changes something in the future. Maybe it was Secret Invasion with the Korea. I don't know, but they're just doing that with Star Wars, weren't they? I mean, what are they going to do? Say, this is just after whatever. She meets up with Luke. But then you think, yeah, but now you fucked your timeline, because now where is she at the end? Unless you kill her off.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to do? Or we can have a season or a movie or thing, and then she's just going to die at the end. And you think, well, then you may as well just not bothered. The only thing they can do is just fucking restart all of it. Same as the MCU, really. Just restart all of it. But then you think, well, you may as well not bother, because you're just going to repeat the same fucking problems that you've had all along. Just leave it. Just end it. End it now.
Without restarting, the only place I could see her coming in, and it's bad no matter what. So I'm not condoning this. I'm just, this is just my speculation. What if, thinking like a retarded Disney executive, take Mara Jade and put her with Ahsoka.
Oh.
And just increase the girl power there. And have her be just another, girl boss, coming in, and then you can have Ahsoka, you can have her, you can have that other one from the cartoon that was in her show.
They can be gay.
They can all be gay and
still be gay.
Start this whole, gay Jedi temple thing.
You could have chanting. You could have it all.
They hear about the power of one, the power of two, and they go, "That's not a bad idea. Let's start chanting that." Star Wars.
This is the thing. If I don't even know who those people would be, apart from the normal fans. There's no one that has a creative background at the minute that you could kind of spearhead this project with. There isn't anyone really, and it just needs to be reset. Like Doctor Who, just leave it for a while and then let's come back to it. The problem is Disney's got nothing else to do, which is why we've got, a Buffy reboot, an X-Files reboot, or God knows whatever the fuck reboot. I would, in an ideal world, reset it all, recast Luke, because you need to do that anyway, to get to the good stories that people want. Recast them all. You could probably do it. They weren't that far away with the Harry Potter casting now. If you see the release of Harry's actor has been released, no issues there. People are picking at it because that's the internet for you, but recast Luke and maybe start from the end of the original trilogy. They go off to do whatever, and this is what comes next. And then you could bring all those characters in, kind of Mara, etc. And you could maybe follow that similar kind of storyline to what you were saying, that assassin turns light side Jedi, and they all live happily ever after, or whatever. But we're decades away from that, assuming they'd even do it.
Well, it's funny that you talk about Doctor Who, because it appears
somehow Doctor Who returned.
Or not return. Doctor Who Insider says nothing is commissioned and nothing is guaranteed, as show remains in limbo month after final airs.
Wasn't this from someone in the BBC? I've got a link somewhere. This isn't like an internal source, is it? It's something that one of the BBC goons had said.
Tom Spilsbury, a journalist and writer with close ties to the show's production, who previously served as editor of the officially licensed Doctor Who magazine for more than a decade.
See,
so
you carry on. I'm listening intently.
apparently he knows a little something going on. And if he's saying nothing's commissioned and nothing's guaranteed, it looks like we're about to head into a second wilderness season for Doctor Who.
Well, we've got that spin-off coming, haven't we, this year?
Yeah, that's but it's not Doctor Who. I mean, it might be in the world of Doctor Who, but it's not Doctor Who. It's like, I mean, they tried to make a Sarah Jane and Canine spin-off, and that went over like gangbusters.
I've got some. So I'm looking at the link I was looking at. It's I don't know if it's the same name you had. Tom Fussell, CEO of BBC Studios, the commercial production arm of the BBC, has spoken about the future of Doctor Who following the BBC's annual report, because obviously they put a report out every year going, "You're not going to believe this, lads. We've spent all the money."
Yeah. Other than this, the war between the land and the sea, which is a dumb title for any show.
If it was good and it had a good TV series airing before it, you could get away with it.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
But Doctor Who is so toxic, and
no, you're toxic, okay?
No, it's toxic. It's toxic. No, nobody wants it anymore. I mean, the last 2 seasons were just the worst. I mean, RTD pretty much said he only came in here to make it lame and gay.
Yep.
He wanted to suck all the testosterone. He wanted to suck all the testosterone out of it, all the masculinity, and just have Dr. Fruity jumping around, singing and dancing. And that's what he wanted, because he thought sci-fi was too masculine and too buff.
He just brought in, didn't he? And he said that himself. He just brought people in that went to his virtual wedding, like, Jinx Monsoon or whatever he calls himself now. The writer for whatever episode it was and all this kind of stuff. It was just, do you want to be on Doctor Who? It'll be so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about this, was Doctor Who coming back? Is it not coming back? I'm actually looking forward to putting a huge rest on this show.
You hope.
10 years at least. Let it sit. I mean, the last one went from 89 to 2005 with a movie in 96, and they tried to do a little something. I can't remember if it was late 90s, early 2000s, with a different Ninth Doctor. They were going to do it in an animated version. But that didn't turn out. That didn't really work. So let it rest. Just let it go. Hopefully.
I don't see your wish being granted, to be honest. I just something in the kind of burrowing away in the back of my head. Unfortunately, people want it to go away, except for the BBC, who need it. They need they don't consider it a flagship program anymore, because if they did, well, we wouldn't be in the position we are now. But they need it as a brand. And we talk about the stuff, the CBeebies bullshit, which if you're a parent of a kid that age, I would not have watching any of that, no matter when it comes out or who's behind it, because that is just going to be just full of, Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the land and the sea. That's whatever part of the partnership with Disney, and that went so well that Disney reached out to a competing broadcaster in ITV and said, "Do you want a partnership?"
Yeah.
That should have been the BBC's like on a platter, like iPlayer with a bit of Disney Plus. That's a thing, and now it's with someone else, because even Disney have turned and went, "Wow, this is fucking shit."
Yeah,
but come on.
Disney's exchanging Doctor Who for Love Island, or
something they can make money on. You can't make money on Doctor Who, and they realize that now. I think that's why they've exited. And there's thing, people will still tell you, oh, there's still a partnership with Disney and stuff. Well, probably because they still want some assets, like they want Bluey, which BBC have the distribution rights to. I'm sure they'll hammer something out because the BBC aren't really in a position not to. But this whole partnership with ITV, where it's like visible, I think kind of shows you where Disney's thoughts are. But someone else will probably jump into the fray. I mean, maybe not necessarily Amazon or whatever, but there's so many companies out there with a few quid to spend that would like to put their name at Doctor Who. So I don't know, maybe within 5 years, maybe before that, if we're really unlucky. But I don't see this going away for, like a 10-year, like a decade, like it needs to.
The only wish I have right now is if it does come back early, it does come back like within 5 years. I know it's not going to happen. I know I'm wishing on something that's never going to happen, but I'm hoping against hope that the BBC actually hires somebody who can tell a good story, and they say, you know what, we tried the DEI route, we tried putting in all the message and try to squeeze all that, and it just collapsed. Let's find somebody who can actually tell a good story and revitalize this thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of said this before over and over. You'll hear other people kind of UK-based saying the same thing, that the issue, but 2005 when RTD kind of started doing this, there was very obviously someone higher up saying no to stuff. Whereas now, 2025's BBC, 24, 23, there isn't anyone because they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. And that's the issue. They're just going to usher in a Phoebe Waller-Bridge or, some fucking moron. It could, well, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me if it's, you like Fleabag, don't you? And I'm like, I've never heard of it, and it looks shit. So you can see them pulling that just to keep it alive, like Disney does with stuff. Just release stuff to keep it alive.
I have Facebook, and every now and then they'll send you something like, here's a memories from years ago. And I was looking at the memories from on this date 8 years ago. I had a post saying 13 is truly the unluckiest number. And I remember it was this day 8 years ago when the BBC brought out Jodie Whittaker and said, she's your new doctor.
Yeah. And you know what? I think I watched that because at the time it was still something worth watching-ish. And I was like, yeah, okay. Maybe this can be the jolt that the series needs, because it was no secret. It had been going into a little bit of a decline. You think, okay, maybe this is a big shake-up, and sometimes that's what you need. I was fully on board with that. None of this, a woman can't be a doctor kind of stuff. That's fine. If you subscribe to that, it's not a problem. It's no different than James Bond always being a white male, which he is. He isn't black, so just get used to that fact. But then it was rubbish, and I started watching after the second, or whatever the Rosa Parks episode was, I think. I was like, no, that's enough for me. I've seen everything I need to see.
Yeah, I remember the lead up to it. Because I remember them saying, we're going to make a decision. We're going to go, and we're going to announce the new doctor on this date. And I remember thinking, all right, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Because they had a lot of names out there. And then, and every now and then they said, could be a woman. I'm like, I don't really want to see a female doctor. I really don't want to.
Yes, fair enough.
If you're going to bring in a female Time Lord or Time Lady, you have Romana. You even Jenny from could have brought her back as something. If you need to do that, and then they showed up with Jodie Whittaker, I'm like, no. I mean, just from the onset with her initial outfit, I'm like, no. It looks like she's trying to be. She had this big scarf, like she's trying to be Tom Baker. And then and then they showed her in her actual costume with her high waters and that jacket she was wearing and that shirt with the rainbow stripe across. I'm like, good Lord, this is garbage.
If only you knew that it was going to get worse.
Oh, I mean,
I think at the time, Jodie was the in thing. She was doing Broadchurch. That was quite popular, and it was good, to be fair. The difference was in Broadchurch, and I think we've had this conversation before. In Broadchurch, she was a side character. Mm-hmm. She was not the main character, and everything that I've been aware of her being in, she has not been a main character. She's the side piece, if you will.
Yeah.
Not like that. She's not main character material, and this kind of proved it. But then there is an argument to be made that the writing was also trash, but she agreed with it, like she does now. She was nodding along, and you saw the quotes as everybody's seen over and over again. Trash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame. We could, going back to present day now, we could get very lucky. The BBC may think, oh, fuck it, who have we got? And there could be somebody, I don't know who. There could be somebody, and they could come in and go, right, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to patch things up because it's all gone a bit shit. So, Timeless Child, that didn't happen. And we carry on, and Matt Smith returns. I don't fucking know.
Somehow Matt Smith returns.
Yeah, somehow.
All right, we got one more thing to look at before we call it a day. Jason Isaacs.
And
his unfortunate interview that he had for calling people out, calling people racist because they don't like.
Because that's always worked so well, hasn't it?
Yeah. They really need to stop and think, is this something I want to say? Because they sit down in an interview and an interviewer asks them something and something stupid falls out of the mouth. The interviewer picks it up, writes it down, takes it back, and now that is forever.
Yeah, we've had the same. I don't know if you caught it. That's why I made a bit of a allude to earlier when we were talking about Superman. Mr. Terrific actor, said he wanted to be a role model for black kids, and then backtracked. No, I meant all kids, but mainly the black ones. Again, and apparently he said something stupid before about being an X-Men, about being the first person to die just because he's black. And it's like, well, no, you were the first character to die because you were an expendable character.
Yeah.
The way these guys keep talking, if you were sane and in Hollywood, you just wouldn't cast black actors because what's the benefit? What's the upside? They just run their mouth and fuck you over. And this is Jason Isaacs, obviously, just white knighting. Again, not a very good agent. They're just not telling him to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, let's take a look at his actual quote here. Papa Esadou is one of the best actors I've seen in my life. I've seen some people online who are.
What's he been in? Let's just break this down a second and address that. So, what's he been in?
I have no idea. I think he was in a play.
Oh,
here it is.
Wow.
He's been acclaimed for his work on stage.
Right.
He jumped to TV with "I May Destroy You."
Right. Never heard of it.
I've never even heard of that.
Right.
And immediately won a BAFTA for Best Actor for his performance.
That means nothing. I could buy a BAFTA off eBay. So, top 5 Papa Esadou performances, and we don't even know the 3 that he's been in.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So he's saying. So Jason Isaacs is saying about how people are being rude about him. What they're being is racist.
Yeah. Okay. I'm happy with that. What next? I mean, from Jason's perspective. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no problem. What now?
Yeah, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I enjoyed the movies. I had no desire to read the books.
Yeah, same. I haven't read the books.
So, I mean, I know people who have read the books, watched the movies. You know, they're deep into this franchise. And as someone who is a fan of franchises, I know what it's like when a character you like, or maybe just a side character, they decide to race swap or gender swap or gender and race swap. And you got to think fans of Harry Potter, real dyed in the wool hardcore fans, have to hate this idea.
Yeah.
Not because of who the guy is. This, again, Jason Isaacs could be right. He could be the best actor in the world. I mean, he could, you know, he could read lines and make people cry just by reading the phone book. But when you're casting for a role where you have a particular look, get this here, bring it up. This is just a fan account, but they are not fans of the casting. It says Snape is described in the books as being a thin man with greasy shoulder-length black hair, a large hooked nose, sallow skin, and cold black eyes. This is what, and this is J.K. Rowling's drawing of what Snape looks like. And now we're getting this.
Yeah.
I don't see pale, sallow skin.
Well, that's because he's black. You know, it's very similar to, you know, we talked about kind of James Bond, didn't we? Idris Elba would be a great James Bond. No, he wouldn't, because James Bond isn't black.
Right.
It's got nothing to do with being racist. I was playing Cyberpunk something, and playing through the expansion, and Idris Elba is in it, and he plays a major component of it, and he is very good. And, you know, from my perspective, not that I know anything, you know, he's great. But you know what he's not? He's not James Bond.
No.
You know, and exactly, you know, the kind of the same logic applies here. It's like, the guy's great, you know, fair enough, Jason. You know, you love him. You know, you want to ride his lightsaber, no problem. But he's not Snape. And, you know, this whole thing about being called racist and stuff is so 2020 now, isn't it? It has no effect on anyone anymore. It just makes them angrier.
Yeah.
It gives them less chance they're going to watch your TV, well, his TV program. So I don't think calling people criticizing him racist is going to help him in the long run, because you could be turning people away just flat out from watching it, or more importantly, not watching it when it first airs, because that's what they're going to want. And if people don't watch it when it first airs, and they don't have all these glittering numbers to shove in our faces, you know, just follow your source material. But J.K. Rowling is left wing.
Yeah.
There just happens to be one thing that she disagreed with, and we've said this before. You disagree on one thing in the Special Friends Club, and you're out. You know, see Georgia Tennant, who had to delete her X account because she said the wrong thing about free plasticine, which I've still never been able to track down, by the way. Everyone talks about free plasticine, but I've never been given any. You know, I'm sure he is a fine actor. Jason's talking like he's the second coming of Christ. I've never seen this guy in anything, and if he's that good, he would be in more stuff, no?
Right.
But he hasn't. So I don't really care what Jason Isaacs has to. And it's very interesting, because I thought it was only a couple months ago, Isaacs was saying something witty to back Rolling Up about something to do with, you know, them that shall not be named. So he's obviously had a word in his ear, isn't he? Where, you know, a couple of quid, so he's looking for a job. But let him get on with it. ultimately, is it going to hurt in the long run? I don't know. Worst case scenario for HBO is it going to be a bad TV program, and they've also then not only got that, but they've got this casting to go with it to be dragged over the coals as well, you know. But
I think all in all, I think the show will work because there's going to be enough Harry Potter fans that are. I know some Harry Potter fans that have read the books, watched the movies, but are of a similar mindset to Jason Isaacs, and they're going to see this and think there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And they're
yeah,
going to be,
it is a curious one though, isn't it? Because you've got you know, all these people that, you know, say the Harry Potter films, but they're also allies, and they don't buy any books anymore. They don't do anything anymore. They're not going to watch the TV program anymore. It's very how the politics in this are working is very curious.
I think a lot of them might check out the first episode, maybe two, just to see, because they if they're going to do this, if they're going to race swap a major character like Snape, what else are they going to do? I mean, I know we joke about, oh, you know, Hermione's going to be gay or something like that. I wouldn't put it past them.
Haven't we? Hasn't the casting came out for Hermione? I've only seen Harry, but I'm sure someone has a list. You know, because all the other characters, the only one that we don't know about is Voldemort. He's been cast, but HBO haven't released it, and it hasn't been leaked either. So maybe it's Papa. Maybe this is all a double bluff. Maybe Snape is going to be played by someone else, or whatever. And it's all been such a fun joke, LOL. I just think the usual people that would rally to, you know, Papa's defense aren't necessarily gonna, because it's the Georgia Tennant effect. You know, they don't like J.K. Rowling, so they're not gonna whatever. It's funny to see them all kind of bite each other in the ass, but it's just silly. It's just such a silly thing to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, J.K. said that she's got nothing to do with it, and I don't believe her, because she's the one with all creative control, and these kind of things would have went up to her at some point. At least be honest about it and say, yeah, I cast Black Snake.
Who knows? Maybe she did this just to appease the other other
you
people.
Can't appease them, though. We know this.
I know that. I know it, but maybe she's, you know, tossing some you know, tossing something in the air, hoping to come up, you know, good. And she's thinking, well, if I do this, maybe I can't win everybody back, but I can win some people back.
Yeah, she goes to the altar of woke, and she's, you know, instead of donating coin, you cast a black man in a white man's role again, because the result will be different this time around, won't it? And it just doesn't make sense. You know, you've got so many components of this brand now. You know, you look at Hogwarts Legacy, that's having a sequel once Warner Brother Games can sort their fucking lives out and, you know, actually make some money. The TV series could roll along. You could have had a accurate, as in, you know, a white character. It is what it is. You know, you can say racist, etc., but no one cares about that now. And if Papa was so good, once he's finished riding Jason's lightsaber, cast him in a spin-off TV series. Have him be the hero, for fuck's sake. You know, you can do anything. People are open to it.
Yeah.
What they're not open to is, once again, just being shown that, you know, white characters don't matter. And you're just supposed to just sit there and nod and agree. And we're past that now.
Right. Well, it's getting late. I know it's late in your
certainly, yeah, it's nearly 10 o'clock here.
So I want to thank you for being here, helping me out.
Very welcome, man. No problem.
I want to thank everyone who was watching, everyone in the chat. Thank you, Comics with Izzy. Appreciate you showing up and chiming in. I love it. Chris, you got anything coming up?
Like a dog chasing a car. I don't know. Obviously, we'll be getting together Sunday, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. EST, whatever that is in Canadian. Nothing else kind of planned, kind of live stream wise for the minute. So, as I say, if you've got anything that you want to do over the next couple of weeks or whatever, we can kind of reserve a day and we can add that in. But just make sure you check out the website there. Whatever bits and pieces I'm up to, I'll always try and put there first. And there you go, scan that lovely QR code, and that'll take you there. That'd be wonderful.
That'll take you right to the Neon Tardis's YouTube page.
The website's got all the other bits and pieces, neontardis.com, my appearances and kind of anything that's going on with streams and all that kind of stuff. And follow me on X as well. Why not? At neon_TARDIS. But yeah, Sunday will be when I'm out and about, kind of on the YouTube scene again.
And here's my website, StephenHuller.com. If you want to read some good short stories, if you need help writing, if you just want to know what's going on in the world of my writing stuff, this is absolutely the spot in the website to check it out. If you want to support the channel and help me not live in a cardboard box, go ahead, find, if this is here, this is also in the description below. And my books. I've written 4 books, working on a 5th. I got 6, 7, and 8 in my head. As soon as I can get around to getting them written, if I could, just be a writer full time, I'd probably have them already cranked out. But unfortunately, we have stuff we need to do.
Real life comes calling.
It does. So, again, Chris, thank you for helping out.
Thanks for having me. As always, it's nice to. The one advantage of coming onto someone else's channel as well, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to press any buttons or move tabs or any of this kind of stuff. So it's always a pleasure.
Yes, I was doing all the hard lifting today, which was fine. It was good.
It's such hard work, isn't it? I don't want to sound like an asshole, but
I had to click a button. I had to look over here at this screen. I had to look back here at this screen.
Exactly. You got to check chat. It's
my neck is going to kill me later because of it. But hey, that's the price I pay for you guys out there.
Exactly, for the people.
I do it for the people. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate everyone watching. If you watch this in a rerun, glad you decided to check it out. All right.